Physiological influences of an 100-metre sprint. Energy is stored in the body in forms of things like carbs, fats, proteins, and the molecule creatine phosphate. Carbs and fats are the main sources of energy. ATP is the body's way of using forms of energy. The body has 3 different systems for metabolism to be transformed into a stored type of energy to then form ATP, and these are immediate, which is ATP, short-term, which is anaerobic or lactate system, and long-term, which is aerobic. Athletes use the short-term form, also known as the anaerobic system, which is used when there is a sudden burst of energy. The anaerobic system is the quickest form of energy production. Although it can only supply enough energy in short bursts, this system relies on creatine phosphate, which is in small supply and the body gets rid of quickly. When creatine phosphate runs out, the body can then call on other energy systems to help.
So, spikes are known for sprinters getting a better grip while making contact with the field, as that is what they need to get power and to get a better grip. There are different types of muscle fibers, such as slow twitch muscle fiber, which helps enable long distance running and long distance endurance. So marathons would use it, and there's another muscle fiber such as fast twitch muscle fiber A and B, which responds fast explosive movements, which is what sprinters would need in order to get that powerful start and to help continue the run for a short amount of time. And they also use anaerobic system.
Crowder et al. In 1992 said that during sprinting events, approximately 95% of energy is used by the anaerobic system and 5% from the aerobic oxygen system. A 100-metre sprint is an anaerobic event heavily dependent on energy supply from ATP-PC system.
The sprint mechanics of a 100-metre sprinter. There are 3 phases for the 100-metre sprinter. The first phase is when the sprinter is out the blocks. What the sprinter would want to do in that first phase is have their arms locked at 90 degrees as well as having their wrists locked. Their hands have to stay in front of their shoulders, not across the body. This is to have a fluent motion throughout the race. Chest and face relaxed, which would result in the upper body relax during the race, during the 3-second phase. Arms finishing in front of the shoulders, coming through into the 2nd and 3rd phase. Arms parallel to the floor and hands in front of the mouth. This is to have a fluent motion throughout the race.
And finally, the backside mechanics include a heel to bum motion. This helps propel the athlete down the track. This motion, however, takes a lot of training, as the knee must remain up in order to maintain the correct technique in reference to the biomechanical aspects of a 100-metre sprint.
Jonah hasn't been training during the first phase of the sprinting, which shows his legs not being parallel to the ground. Instead of running on his toes, he is running on the heels of his feet, which would cause injuries in the shins, such as shin splints. And his legs aren't at 90 degrees. His legs are swinging instead of being at a 90-degree angle.
second sprint performed by Jonah has a much better technique, potentially performing a better training regime that incorporates the 6 phases of a sprint. As an example, power cleans, bench press, seated leg press, seated row, lunges, incline bench press, and straight leg deadlift have all been proven to maximise performance of a 100 metre sprint. 4 sets of each exercise accompanied by circuit training can improve aerobic power, lactic capacity, glycotic capacity and glycotic power. Doing this over a phase of 6 to 8 weeks, as well as upper and lower body strength tests, maximum oxygen uptake tests and stride length measurements to track progress can benefit performance every 2 weeks, according to sprinting coach Brian McKenna.
Developing your core muscles, your abs, hips and back through a weight training program can help coordination and the control of limbs. This can be done by crunches, sit-ups and weight training machines.
These are a few tips to avoid injuries during a 100 metre sprint. First of all, you do not do static stretching. This is because static stretching exhibits no additional holding back of performance during a 100 metre sprint. So you don't want to hold back, you don't want to overstretch so that you're not able to run as fast as you can. So they do claim that it is harmful to include static stretching during your 100 metre sprint warm up. So instead of doing static stretching, they do suggest that you do perform a dynamic stretch, and they do say doing dynamic stretching you shouldn't do as much. This is because they feel that you should do dynamic stretching to the point where you feel very energized, very ready to go, so you can set off that power and that quick aerobic exercise and bang it out and give as much strength and power as you can during the 100 metre sprint.